Hello, once again, the fan is on, and if this causes trouble, apologies. It's just not possible to sit in this attic without the fan on. All right, let's talk about Palestine Action. It's probably mostly a middle-class group of people. I suspect that most of them are called names like Tarquin and Chamomile. OK, I'm quite sure that those Tarquins and Chamomiles would have been dancing with joy about the government oppression of people protesting the murder of children in Southport last year, and they would have been only too happy to see those working class oiks being labelled libelously as far-right by Keir Starmer, wouldn't they? Yeah, but the boot's on the other foot now though, isn't it? Instead of labelling those guys the far right and lying about their, political violence that never happened and buses and vehicles coming in from outside that didn't exist and all that sort of stuff, Starmer is now lying about the Tarquins and the Chamomiles being a terrorist organisation, not just far right this time, but a terrorist organisation. It's the same thing, and all those newspapers weighing in on the government's oppression over Southport are directly responsible for the government's overreach in this case. I'm Granniopteryx. Please like this video, please share it, please subscribe to my channel, click that subscribe button. It's the only way that YouTube knows that I'm here. If you want to contribute financially to my channel, that's fine, I'd like that, but don't hurt yourself by doing that. All the links for methods of donation are in the description. Right, let's get on with talking about Palestine Action and RAF Bryce Norton. Now, Palestine Action is, as far as I can make out, a bunch of, probably anti-Semitic, middle-class, older people and a whole lot of fashionably obsessed useful idiot kids. And spraying paint into aeroplanes is not terrorism, it's destruction of property, and perhaps it could be considered similar to that crime of setting fire to the King's shipyards, which used to be a hanging offence. Not now though, I believe that Tony Blair ditched that one. But individual cases of that sort of vandalism and property damage could be sent to jail, and for a fairly long time. Does the government think that prescribing the whole organisation to which they belong will stop them from having sympathies? What is going to happen is it will just show the government up as being weak. Look, terrorists go out to kill people. Terrorists go out to do harm. Palestine Action is not about doing harm, it's about vandalism. They are dopes, and perhaps they are dangerous dopes, but they're not murderous dopes, not yet anyway. And it's a misuse of the terrorism law to call them terrorists. In case you want to know, according to the law just passed, you can't be a member of Palestine Action. You can't express support for that organisation or show any public solidarity with them. Indeed, I might end up in trouble just talking about them. You can't do that without breaking the law, and you could end up with 14 years in prison for any of the above offences. And this might even, as far as I know, it can be applied even to the things you did, like, for instance, wearing a badge or something. If you did that before the law was passed, I think the law is so badly worded that it could even be applied to that. But then the government is really good at misusing words, isn't it? As I've said before, I think Palestine Action are fools, and as I also said, probably anti-Semitic as well, personally. But as I said before as well, so far they aren't terrorists. Of course, this law was passed without proper debate, and it included 2 other groups as well. You won't believe the names of these groups. One of them was called the Maniacs Murder Cult. Yeah. And the other one is the Russian Imperial Movement. I hadn't even heard of those guys. But you see, I don't think that those people are really... I mean, I don't know anything about them, but so far as I know, they haven't done anything yet. They've been prescribed, I think, because they were on the radar and they were put in with the Palestine Action so that the MPs voting on the law about declaring them to be prescribed terrorist organisations, they had no choice. They couldn't pick out one or the other. There's a legal question about the whole thing. It was rushed through. It was pushed through, as I said, on 3 organisations, which couldn't be differentiated. And when it's reviewed and thrown out as unconstitutional, and it probably will be, there's a judicial review on July the 21st, by the way. When it's judicially reviewed into the judicial rubbish bin of history, then the government's going to look even weaker than it looks now. Oh, by the way, the final joke is that Keir Starmer, 2003, he was a human rights barrister and he defended a couple of people who broke into RAF Fairford. They were there to sabotage US bombers on their way to Iraq. Look, a lawyer's a lawyer, so we can't blame Starmer for doing his job back in the day. But it's funny anyway, isn't it? OK, who's up for a petition to ask the King to dissolve Parliament on the grounds that this government is completely incompetent? Let me know in the comments. All right, till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.